So, what day is this in Vancouver for you?
How many days you mean?
Yeah,
I've been here.
Is it a full 2-week residency?
No, it's actually I arrived on the 12th of June, so this is I've been here for 3 weeks.
Oh wow!
So that's kind of it's really rare to be like at the same place for such a long time.
Yeah,
because as a musician you're used to it's so it looks like you're playing a gig and the day after you're going some other place.
Yeah.
So this is unique.
Yeah. It's not like being on tour.
Yeah,
it's I find anytime I get to travel anywhere, 1 week is like not enough if you're a musician. Because you're just discovering what's happening in the city. And you've been here many times.
Yeah, though. I counted. I think it's my 13th
13
time.
Yeah.
I can sometimes, like I'm getting close to 60 years old. So sometimes, how you remember things, I have to double check it. But some, you really think it's like 13 times, but I double checked it. So I think it's 13 times. So it's the very first time it was year 2000.
Since 2000.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So it's
what brought you here in 2000?
I think actually it was...
you were with Atomic?
No, it wasn't. Okay. It was with Pat Hixas Johansson. He's a kind of a reed player.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So we had a quartet. It was his band.
Yeah.
So that was kind of, it was really exciting to come here because we did not only play in Vancouver, it was also in Calgary, Edmonton, Ottawa, I think.
Okay.
Toronto. So Toronto was my very first meeting with Canada.
Wow.
So then we had in Vancouver. I think we stayed here maybe for 3 days.
In Vancouver.
Yeah. On the the Millennium 2000. So it was my first encounter with this town.
What was your impression of Vancouver the first time?
It was like
I guess it was kind of whirlwind, right?
Yeah. Such a beautiful town. The weird mix of the mountains and the high buildings and the food, and also the combination with the jet lag. So it was kind of that feeling,
right?
And also that was maybe the heydays of the festivals. It was so much people from all over the world. It was so nice to meet people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, I imagine it was probably. Like when you say in combination with the jet lag, do you mean you sort of have this sort of delirious?
Yeah, it's delirious. I didn't have. My daughter wasn't born, and but went to phone home to my wife. It's always like if you're hanging out, if it's 2:00 in the morning.
Yep.
It's 9 hours time difference,
right?
So that's and then it was also the internet. It was you have it was another way to phone home then.
Yeah.
If sometimes it was collect call. The receiver was paying for the call. But that I remember it was a little bit stressful in some way.
Right. Yeah. No. Yeah. There was always you had the option of doing the collect call.
Yeah.
But then you knew that you would be putting out the person that you're calling.
Absolutely.
And so you have to rely on them being willing to take the call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was an amazing tour, and it was, of course, different kind of places. But, Vancouver has always been, like the crown, amongst the festivals. Mm-hmm. And I've been playing in Montreal a couple of times.
Yeah.
It always, also been, I've been playing in small places and also at the jazz festival.
Yeah.
But also, when we were in Toronto, Per, the band leader, he was like, he was, he was booking, a tour to Niagara Falls.
Oh, okay. Yeah, nice.
So that was also kind of fun to go there.
Yeah. I've never been to Niagara Falls. I hear it's become like a very Very like tourist location, like.
Sure,
Yeah.
we went there with the bus. We had a personal guide,
Oh, nice.
and we went into a house where we could like fool around with different kind of colors from the spotlights.
Oh, okay.
So then we have a diploma. I lit up the Niagara Falls, like a proof. So that was,
Nice.
I was so happy about that diploma, but I forgot to bring it from the hotel the day.
Right.
So yeah. So that was my first trip. But
Great, yeah.
I have so many nice memories from Vancouver. It's
Yeah.
a really good audience and a really positive.
Yeah,
vibe.
I missed your show the other day with
Yeah.
Talking Pictures.
Yeah,
How did that go?
it was a
Grand
really
Island?
nice show. Nothing could get wrong because it was such a warm feeling in the group.
Yeah. Yes. Because I mean, it's such a long relationship
Yeah,
that they all
absolutely.
have.
Yeah,
And like even like with Dylan and Peggy, they're living in Melbourne
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
But they come back and it's all the same.
absolutely. It's
So like
it's
you have like that kind of energy of them being reunited.
yeah, definitely.
Did you feel like a little bit maybe like an outsider in the group, or
It's definitely. I was thinking in such ways, like not like an intruder,
right?
but also I the history. Actually, I didn't, I didn't listen at all to some recordings with them
Right.
because also like it can affect you in a bad way, but also it's a you what do I say, you respect the music if you listen to it, like have
Yeah.
a kind of a knowledge. But I felt like I'm going into this environment and listen carefully
Right.
what's happening in the music.
Right. So you just kind of want to trust your instincts in the moment,
Absolutely. And
as
Ron,
opposed to overthinking it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And Ron was such a sweetheart, and
Yeah.
we were, like it was. We didn't rehearse. It was more kind of a sound check.
Yep.
And and then you got the picture, of the framework on the music aesthetically.
Yep.
And the trumpet player is called Bill.
Yep.
And it was also it's so easy to play with him.
Yeah.
And also like I don't say like I'm a super professional, but I have the experience and knowledge.
Yeah, of course.
To bring in my knowledge into the music, but also like what can I blend and what can I learn from the other musicians.
Right. Yeah. Was there anything concrete you were thinking in the moment, or was it really just you were just using your ears and
I definitely
reacting in
use
the
my
moment?
ears, but also
Yeah.
like it can also be like if you're listening, what do you say? Listen, you have to contribute in some way.
Yes.
So if I only listening, what the other guys in the band are listening, it can be like a very defensive playing.
Yes. Yeah. Because
So-
you're being almost too respectful.
Absolutely.
And you don't want to step on anyone's toes because
I-
it's Talking Pictures. They're
Yeah.
they're so revered in the Vancouver scene.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're all like, all of those people are like mentors to younger people. Like Ron was one of my first guitar teachers, but at the same time, I mean, I guess, if you're like a house guest,
Yeah.
they invite you over to dinner. You don't want to just be sitting there listening to everybody. You want to, you want to be a good guest. You want
Absolutely.
to be a good company. So, and I imagine like no matter what you do, they'll just support you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I figure out, it was so many ways to go. But I think the importance of playing music, if it go in too many ways, you have like, and that's the hard one, when we haven't played together, to figure out what the aesthetics in the music is. But I got the feeling, it's really open, but at the same time you have to, keep it to the ground.
Yeah, because there's this chamber quality to it.
Definitely.
Because you have the cello.
Yeah.
And it's a mostly acoustic instruments, so like there isn't the typical rhythm section happening, and so you have to kind of like play within that sensibility, I guess.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
you know,
I wish I could have seen it.
yeah,
Man,
but
man.
it was good, you know.
Yeah.
And afterwards, I'd say, what happened in the music, you know? But it was recorded,
Oh, great.
so it's you know, it's maybe not the idea to put, you know, to release it, but it's, you know, like what do you say, document, you know, like
Of course, yeah.
So it's I'm
Yeah.
happy that it's recorded.
It'll end up in some archive somewhere.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. To remember what really happened at the gig, it can be really hard.
Oh,
one
absolutely. Oh, yes.
to
yeah.
remember. But
Yeah.
but I, you know, when I back the tape, I have some nice feeling of some nice stretches.
Right. Okay, great.
But maybe my strategy was like I'm easily go off like you know, with them easily, you know, can what do you say, contribute with my energy.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's nice to let it wait for a little bit.
Maybe.
It's, you know, like, figure out what's happening, you know, like what's but it's easy to go on 100% from the very start.
Yeah.
So you never know. But I think I waited a little bit, you know, to listening, you know, what's
Right. Yeah. I'm sure you're being as critical as possible as you could be
Yeah,
to
yeah,
yourself
yeah,
about
yeah.
this kind of show. But it was probably awesome, and I think I just knowing those people you were playing with, I'm sure they were just happy to have you. You know?
yeah. But I got that feeling also, like Dylan I met before, Peggy I met before,
Yeah.
and Ron and I was talking. He said probably we maybe had played together, you know, like for.
It is one of those things where it's like if you've been here 13 times since the year 2000, you've probably met Ron.
Yeah, I met him
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
But the question is, have we been
Have you
playing
played?
together?
Yeah.
So that's kind of, you know, like maybe not, because sometimes, you know, and I really love it, but, you know, like the ad hoc, you know, like meeting, you know, playing, you know,
Yeah.
not decide what music we want to play.
Yeah.
So we could maybe have played for like 25 years ago or not.
It's possible,
but,
yeah.
Yeah, but
He's one of those guys
Yeah.
who's been around.
yeah.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. I'd love to listen to that recording. I'm sure I'll figure out some way to get my hands on it.
Yeah.
So you've done that show. Is it just the two shows you're doing for the fest?
Yeah, you know, I'm, what do you say, secretly, you know, I've been asked of Tyson Nyler,
Oh yeah.
you know, to what do you say, as a guest with his group tomorrow.
Oh, great. Oh, nice.
So I'm gonna join for some tunes and play
great.
South African, like Louis Moholo.
Oh wow.
And so actually I was at Tyson's home, not for rehearsing that music, only, you know, to meet him, and
yeah.
you know, so we played 2 free improvised stretches, and then we checked out some themes. But I'm gonna join his band at 5 o'clock tomorrow, but it's not official.
Okay,
you know,
okay.
because, you know, the
Ooh.
festival.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this podcast will make it out in time. It might. It might make it out in time for the big band show on Sunday.
Yeah,
though,
absolutely.
Which I'd like to chat about a
Definitely.
little bit.
So that's, you know, it's, yeah, I'm happy, you know, it's been, you know, it's 3 concerts.
Great.
So, but this stretch has been more focused, you know, to meet people and, you know, practice myself, and I try to write some music, but I have no obligations, you know. I have to write for a, you know, like a suite or a big
Right,
band.
yeah,
you know,
it's not one of those,
I'm
yeah.
here, you know, so it's been kind of, especially the 2 first weeks, to be by yourself in 2 weeks. It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
So it was, you know, sometimes you start to talk with yourself,
Right.
you know, reflections,
Yeah.
and, you know.
Yeah.
So it's
Talk with your saxophone.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Have you done a lot of these sort of residencies before?
Not like this, actually. It's been more shorter, maybe connected to a group or something. But not for myself.
Great, yeah.
So, but I've heard of this. You know, I applied many years ago. But, you know, like it's only one person, you know, at the time that can go.
Yep.
So finally, you know, I got this.
Great.
So that was, yeah. and I had so much things right before I left here, so it was kind of a bit stressy, and like I'm what do you say, associated professor at Royal College of Music in Stockholm, so it's kind of it's a peak, right before the semester, what is it, the holiday starts.
Yes.
So it's, you have to what do you say, giving thumbs up for the students.
Yeah.
They have the grades and everything.
Yes.
And it's also stressful, and also my daughter, she took her exam.
Yeah.
So it was so many things.
Right.
So it was kind of like a nice cut to go to the plane and like coming here.
Just sort of like leave all that behind, just
disconnect
for a month.
Yeah. So that was it was good for me.
Great. Yeah. Sounds like it was.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about this big band. So we were able to rehearse a couple of times last week. I guess not long after you got here. You came and played with the rhythm section, that first.
Yeah, I did.
That first one. And we were able to rehearse with the whole band the next week a couple of times. So far, so good.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to go great. Have you been to that stage yet, Performance Works on Granville Island?
Yeah, I think so. I played there many years ago.
Yes, yeah. There's always music there for Jazz Fest. Yeah, because you played at the review stage the other day, which is a smaller,
nice place.
It's such a nice little room though. Like I love the seating there. I played there for we did a Miles Davis tribute last month. Yeah, it's such a nice little. I think Talking Pictures would have been perfect in there. But anyway, we're doing Performance Works, a much larger.
Yeah, but
stage.
I think it's great for the big band.
It'll be perfect for the big band. It'll be great. Getting some outside commentary here. I know, obviously, you've played with some big band because there's a recording of one of your tunes that we're going to be playing with a big band. No Time to Lose.
Yeah.
But have you done this other one that we're doing, Oslo?
Yeah, that I've been doing actually with the same group, but that was not recorded with that Norwegian larger group. But then it's been on, it's two other versions.
Okay.
It's one with Atomic and Chicago group. It's two groups put together.
Oh, cool.
And then it's also on, I used to have a group, actually we played with that group in Vancouver called Ljungkvist 5.
Okay.
It's me on the reeds and a piano player and a tuba player.
Oh, wow.
And bass and drums. And we play Oslo there.
No chords?
No, piano.
Oh, piano.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was thinking,
we have
what is that?
There's
a Max Roach record that has tuba and saxophone.
Okay.
And trumpet. D's not words.
Okay.
But no chords. So,
all right, okay.
That's piano instead of trumpet. Anyway, sorry. Yeah.
So that's,
I'm just trying to think of tuba records.
Okay. Yeah. Immediately your brain.
Yeah.
So So that, but it fits really well, with the larger ensembles, and it's really, it's super unison, but you can work out, different kind of layers.
Yeah, I like what you figured out with the band. You're conducting improvised backgrounds, and so what's the. So we'll go from being in that one mode, because the song is very modal.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then we'll go to atonal.
You mean at No Time to Lose?
Or is it only No Time to Lose that's going atonal?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
But it could also happen on Oslo. You never know. But maybe
I'm just mixing up the rehearsal thing. Because we do, I guess, a similar thing. Oh, also, okay, I wanted to ask you about this, because a couple of us were talking about this. On one of the tunes, we're doing this written intro, and you mentioned harmonics.
Yeah.
Can you tell me about harmonics?
Oh, I can't explain it,
okay.
but I mean, I've been.
That's an Ornette Coleman thing.
Yeah. Practically, it's an easy. I can't. What do you say? Explain it, but I have a feeling. He wrote music. Like Skies of America.
Yes.
with this group, and it's a London Symphony Orchestra.
Yes.
And also like it's untransposed music.
Yes. So
like
that's the idea, is that like it's like polytonal.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But you have instruments playing the same. I guess like this is my read on harmonics.
Yeah.
Is you're sort of relying on, I guess, what you could call the melodic contour.
Yeah.
So like the melody is being played in such a way that even if you have it being played in multiple keys, the melody still prevails.
Absolutely.
And you can kind of like use that shape as kind of the form or something like that. Which is, I mean, it's always, it sounds really cool, especially when you have a big band doing it.
Absolutely.
Because everything you do with the big band sounds intentional.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
when you have 16 to 18 people doing similar things all at the same time, then it's just like, oh wow, what's happening here? But it's like mostly improvised. I think that's.
I think also like my like utopian idea, about big bands. I really love / hate big band because also like it's so what do you say, uniform in a bad way, like with the parts, and I want to loosen it up,
Yes.
But the kind of extremes, they are very free big bands.
Yeah.
But I want to have that kind of between feeling.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I feel like that's hard to achieve, because I find that in any ensemble, you have basically, the more members of the ensemble you have, then the more order is being imposed on them in general, and so smaller groups can do free improv very easily because there's
absolutely
less. They rely less on order to be able to communicate with each other, and so when you have like 10 plus, 15 plus people in a band, order is very, very important. So in the case of you, conducting the backgrounds, it basically becomes a dictatorship.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, where everyone has to do exactly what you say, no matter what.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's I think like 3 members of a group. It's the perfect amount of people in the group when you can bring out your personalities and the sound and make decisions. But then when you're adding, it's getting harder and harder. You have to in some way organize the music, or be really good. Jazz musicians, I think we're kind of, and it's good, have a kind of egoistic thing in the music, but you have also like to get into the big collective feeling.
Yes.
How you work with other, like in the, it could be like colors or dynamics, how you work, but also not be scared to bring out your voice in the big, a big picture.
It is, that is, it's a balance for sure, because the way I was taught to play big band music was that as a guitar, you're a rhythm instrument. You're more like a drum than
absolutely
rhythm else. And so you have to play in such a way, especially if it's in the very traditional big band, Count Basie style playing. Like if you're playing like Freddie Green, then you have to play so like on the rhythm and so like flat dynamically that it basically acts as the barometer for the rest of the band. Because eventually, this is what Bill Kuhn, great guitar teacher at Capilano, great guitar player here in Vancouver, he taught me was, just keep playing at that same volume. Don't turn your amp or don't turn your guitar up when the band gets louder. Keep playing at that volume so that in the shout chorus, the band drowns out the guitar. Like you can't hear the guitar. And that's part of it. It's supposed to be like that.
Interesting.
And because then when the band drops out and the guitar is just tunk, 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 that, you get like that. There's like a nice moment there.
Absolutely.
That in Sinatra at the Sands with the Count Basie Orchestra. They do I've Got You Under My Skin. Huge shout chorus, and then it drops out, and you get.
That's wow! What a contrast,
right? And like that feels really special. Absolutely. But that's like you're really playing a role there.
Yeah, definitely.
And then in something like Dean's band, it's much more contemporary. The guitar is not playing like that, except for like if it's like specifically going for that particular sound, because like Dean has like this. You know, he wants to go like full camp sometimes, like very campy, like doing the Universal Studios like theme, right? And so like we'll do that sometimes, but other times I have to play the melody. I have to play melody with, you know, I'm doubling the saxes or I'm doubling the trombones,
nice.
And that's really fun for me. And it is like you're saying, like you have to kind of learn how to play out and really like be able to cut through the rest of the band.
Absolutely.
In order because that's what the composer wants. The composer wants to hear those instruments playing together and get that texture of those instruments together. And so you kind of have to let go of that. I have to let go of like that, you know, my Jedi training of like, you know, just like playing quarter notes only and like not and like being in the background because I'm like part of the rhythm section, and that's what we're supposed to do. A lot of the time I'm like separate from the rest of the rhythm section, and I'm just listening to the rhythm section as though I was a horn player, just for cues and so yeah, you like it's inverting a lot of these conventions about the big band in this band already, but it still really requires a lot of order.
Absolutely.
But you're sometimes you're kind of conducting yourself a little bit in the because of that. There's just so much writing. There's just so much that's been written and so many layers that are happening.
You know, also as a composer, you get so stressed also, like to write for every people in the band, you know. Totally, shit, this part is it's empty. What's, you know, the third trumpet, you know, what I'm going to write, you know, that kind of.
And Dean probably feels that extra hard because all of the parts have like the person's name on it. Right? My part says Chris Fraser. It doesn't just say guitar. It says Chris Fraser. So like he's writing for that person.
Yeah.
And I think that's how he's always done this band. Is he has a person in mind. He writes a song and he wants beautiful. That person to solo, which is it's awesome, right? Like it's really special to be part of that. But yeah, he probably puts the pressure on himself. It's just like, he's going to be so, you know, George is going to be so bored with this trombone part, you know, like, but also it's just like, I don't know, when you're in a big band, like sometimes you want slashes, you want rests, you know. It's
nice also about break. Chemistry, you know, like.
Yeah.
But I immediately got really nice feeling, nice vibe on everyone in the band, you know. It's like it's oof. Because as a musician, even though we have been playing for so many years, the meeting with musicians, you can like make up so much, you know, some bad things, you know. Oh shit, I'm gonna meet some people. And maybe they're really harsh and, you know, not. Can communicate at all, but then when you're in that room, you know, you deal with human beings.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, sometimes, you know, it can be really like negative feelings, but and then, you know, you're in a challenge. What do you say? In a creative way, you have to solve the problem.
Yeah.
And make people maybe understand your music, But I really believe, you know, in the here and now, in the real time, you know, there's things happening. And I'm really happy, you know, like with the music, it's kind of have been developing in a really nice way. You know, the first meeting, it was good, but it was, everyone maybe was, okay, a little bit rusty. But the second, you know, it's getting better and better.
We were looking at that music for the first time in a little bit.
You know, like kind of weird, you know, intonation. But after a while, you know, you adjust and find the frequency together.
Yeah, and that's the beauty sort of like of music. Especially sometimes. Well, I mean, I think it's a really good test for the band to have you come in and bring your own music that's just coming from a totally different angle.
Yeah, but it's wonderful
And,
if it's like that.
Because now we need to, like we have to think about all of this a little bit differently. We have to keep our ears perked up a little bit more instead of like being glued to the page. You know, it's been beneficial for me specifically to have learned the music by heart, because now I can pay attention. I can pay attention to what's going on. I don't need to just be glued to the page. I can listen to the rhythm section. I can watch you. I can watch.
That's great.
And so obviously sometimes that's not always possible. When you're,
true.
if we're just dealing with one page or 1.5 pages or something like that, I can deal with that. I can learn that. But if we're talking about several hundred bars of music, it's harder to go off book for that.
It is.
So it's a different muscle, because it's essentially, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's small group music.
Yeah.
That's being played by a large group, right?
Definitely.
And so how do we adapt that, right?
Yeah.
And I think what made it so good is that everybody was on board immediately.
Definitely.
I don't think anybody had any issue with the fact that we were coming up with stuff, or like we had to be able to kind of adapt to this. I think everybody has faith in this band being able to come up with stuff.
Faith is
that sounds
important.
Good.
Yeah.
So
true.
Yeah. So that's going to be a great show.
Yeah,
it's going to be so awesome.
Forward.
Yeah.
So then it's kind of crazy. I'm going with the plane the day after, but it's kind of in the evening.
Yeah.
But it's kind of it's as I said, it's weird. It's the time is really passing by so fast.
That's kind of how it goes, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it is. But maybe it's a good sign. I have been enjoying, but
you're not suffering.
No, but I have got so many suggestions of nice restaurants, and I only picked.
We've had some good food.
Yeah,
we've had some good food.
Yeah, that's right.
There is a lot of great food, especially around here.
Yeah.
You're staying in such a great neighborhood. This is my neighborhood too. So
okay, yeah.
I just live up the street from here, but
but it's kind of very lively. It's a very noisy street, but I like it in some way.
Well, right here where you are, we're on around Main and First. I think that, this is where it becomes like an industrial area over here.
Okay,
so I think you have a lot of like freight trucks and stuff. Through,
trucks, a lot of trucks in the morning.
Yeah, but this is a really cool building. There's a couple jam spaces around here.
Yeah,
too,
I've heard so.
Yeah.
Heavy metal groups and.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you? Do you have anywhere else you're going to be going to this year? Apart from back home to Stockholm, or
going other places?
Are you visiting anywhere else?
Yeah, I'm
tour.
My wife, she's also performing on this festival. She is performing tonight. With Torsten Müller has kind of a program, also at the review
stage.
Free improvised groups.
Awesome.
Playing. So Tony, it's kind of a concert for Tony before.
Oh, that's tonight.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, yes. Okay.
So I'm going to try to be there.
I'll try to come. I have a gig in the afternoon. I'll try to come after that. Yes.
But anyway, we have some. I'm in her new group, so we're going to do some gigs, in the fall, and we're going actually to Brazil.
Oh, to, wonderful.
Belo Horizonte. Don't ask me where it is, but it's kind of it's pretty close to Rio de Janeiro.
Okay,
so we're going to be there for 10 days. So it's also nice to be there for 10 days.
Yeah.
We're going to play with Brazilian musicians.
Holy cow.
So and I'm so bad at remembering names, but it's a guy. It's really
sorry to put you on the spot.
A great guitar player.
Oh, awesome.
Maybe I remember its name soon.
Yeah.
But so I'm looking forward. It's I think it's in September. So
Amazing,
it's in like combination. I have a lot of duet, the Royal College of Music, where I like teach improvisation and saxophone
Oh, great.
lessons.
Yeah.
So I have like more than 50%, like contracted.
Yeah.
So I have to balance it with touring.
Yes.
Sometimes, I can solve the problem to some other guy can do my teaching.
Yeah.
So it's like I have to do some planning.
Right.
So, but it's Brazil, and I'm going also to Finland like for some week touring and.
Okay.
And then it's another group, a mix of people from Denmark, Norway, and Finland.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good friend of mine, so I put together a larger group. So
we're
gonna have some gig in Finland, Denmark, and Norway.
Great.
So that's some things so I'm looking forward to. So I really love to tour, but I think the COVID period has really, broke down, the touring a little bit.
Right. Yeah. I guess it's sort of everybody had to sort of start from zero.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
So, yeah. That's fair. I mean, it sounds like you're getting back into it.
I think so.
Yeah. How long have you been at the conservatory?
I've been there. First not contracted. Hour-based teacher. What do you call it? Like
a salary.
Yeah. Because
what do you call it?
You're not. What do you say? I have been, contracted for maybe 6 or 7 years.
Yeah,
but
like a professorship.
Yeah.
Kind of thing,
associated. What do you say? Not professor, but professor.
Adjunct or something.
Yeah, but it's a lecturer.
Okay. Yeah.
Senior. Yeah.
Okay.
So I got it, some years ago.
Yeah.
I'm happy about that job, but it's also like a tricky thing also with the balance, when you're touring and then come back, to teach. But I'm really enjoying to meet the students. And, as you're getting older, the students is younger, like it's like a big
I've
gap
heard,
of ages.
That's funny. Yeah, I've heard this phenomenon.
Yeah.
Because it's funny because recently a lot of the teachers that were at the university I went to, like the main jazz school here, Capilano, a lot of those professors are starting to retire, kind of like in the last 5 years or so. A bunch of them are just leaving.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of a changing of the guard happening, right? And one thing that I've heard of, obviously I won't name names, but is that the teachers are starting to kind of feel less connected to the students, right? Like there's two whole generations, of separation between these teachers who are in their late 50s, maybe early 60s, and these students who are like, as young as 17 years old sometimes, and they just come from such different worlds now. So I can imagine, I mean, I have trouble, relating to some of these, to kids around that age sometimes too, but I guess if you're younger, you have a little bit more, you have more context to work with. But yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I do want to, I want to know your take on teaching, because I teach guitar and not at a jazz school or anything, but I have some jazz guitar students privately. And, how do you feel about how students are consuming music these days?
You mean listening to music and
like how are they, because like they discover music differently.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
They do.
It's a whole new, it's not like they probably don't hear it on the radio. At least here they don't. I mean, there's way less jazz on the radio than there used to be,
Yeah.
And so like, and they're probably not collecting records. They might be if they're like,
there's some exceptions. That's true. Once again, I've been working. I started at that school when I was like 28 years old.
Okay, yeah.
And then I was like kind of close to the students in age. Maybe I was 10 years older then.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't say that was easier, but I was more connected, to the stage. But I guess, if a person is like around 20 years old, it's easily they go out and listen to musicians around
Yes.
their own, the generation.
Yes,
Maybe plus 10, like people in 30 years. That's so sometimes it's. I don't say I'm frustrated or annoyed, but sometimes I can have students that have never listened to me live.
Yeah.
So that's kind of crazy feeling sometimes when you like having a student for 3 years, and maybe some students.
For like 3 years? No, this isn't a brand new student.
No.
Okay.
So that's all of like sometimes I'm very good sometimes to what do you say? They know that I'm going to play next week. You're welcome to listen to me.
Yeah, great.
And they, I have a rehearsal, I can't come. That's fine. But, it makes it more easier if they see me playing live. And then it may be questions, many questions can be, their reflections, how, my playing, how I think about improvising, composing. So that's kind of strange. So I can say you must listen to me, but
Well, yeah, and I think that's very that's a little bit eye-opening for me about maybe what your philosophy is on teaching, because I think I keep wanting to say kids these days, and I really it makes me feel so old to say.
Yeah.
But I feel like they're so used to the things being academic and things being empirical, where you go to a music school and you're expecting that the teachers will tell you black and white terms of what is correct and what is incorrect. And because they've been trained to get good grades. And and just understand the correct answer and what is not the correct answer and everything. And to me, it sounds like what you're saying is that you don't claim to have the correct answers, but you claim to have a point of view.
Absolutely.
And so to understand what you can teach them, they need to understand what your point of view is, right? And so to understand your point of view, they would need to see you do what you do, which is...
Absolutely. Me in action, like playing. But of course, lately, but I often, want to play with the student, if it's like a saxophone lesson, of course I bring my horn. So we play together, like duos and improvise together. So that's, I like bring my knowledge through my horn. That I think is really important. Of course, sometimes we can talk about scales, but I'm really trying to avoid too much to say this scale is correct to play on this harmony. I'm a little bit very careful about that.
Yeah, because it's. I mean, how do you quantify what is correct? Because you'll find. You can say that, and then you can try to find an example, and then you listen to Joshua Redmond or something, and he's going to play 5 different types of scales over one chord, and it all sounds correct. And it turns out it's just because he has really good time feel, and it just
absolutely,
and it just sounds perfect whenever he does it because he's just so confident. And so is that the answer? Like, kind of, just confidence.
Okay, there are some maybe some rules or theories, but okay, it's open to check out every kind of theories, but I don't want to have a definite theory about music. And I also want, and it's a question that it occurs to me, like curiosity in music. Students are curious about music. Some of them are not that much curious, like they're okay, but, and there are some students that are really hungry to learn things, And I want to share, try to make the student open up their ears, to listen to music, all kind of music. Also like the context, the history, and everything.
Absolutely,
it's really tough one, because if a musician is like 18 years old, it's so much music out there. How to guide that.
That is something that I don't envy. About having, if you're a person that has a musical mind, right? Like a young person, and you're just trying to learn about music, and it's 2026, like, where do you start? It seems it's impossible. Because you need some kind of point of view. You need some kind of guidance. You can't just go Spotify, YouTube, whatever, and just see what works. And I mean, that is what they usually do, and they find playlists or whatever, and like that's fine. But the playlists are dangerous because they're removing, like you said, like all of the history and context from any of these recordings, right? So like you'll find a playlist, you listen to Footprints by Miles Davis Quintet. It's like, wow, this is really cool drumming and stuff. But that's all you get, right? You have to listen to Miles Smiles, and you have to understand, like, oh, dang, that drummer was 18 years old. That's crazy. All right, that already like gives it a lot more depth, and then you can learn just from that recording. It's just like, oh, this is like a redo of like a earlier recording. The earlier recording is much more straight ahead, and like that's just one example. But obviously, I know that because I've been studying this stuff, but that I really appreciate you saying that, because I think that's a big thing that I try to do too. Is whenever we look at a song, I look at a song with a student, I always dive into like a history lesson, because it's all connected. Obviously, the history kind of gives you everything, and the context too. But yeah, opening up your ears, I think, is a really great way of putting it. Because even with students that aren't necessarily into jazz that I have, I'll still try to like give them some context, like how to listen to this music with, I guess, like if we're listening to pop music, like just like listening to it in an analytical way, or understanding like, this sound, like where does this sound come from, that kind of thing. Because then that can help you, like you could just go off of a thread in that, as opposed to it just being sort of like presented to you, and then you get something new, and I don't know. Yeah, it is. I don't envy. Yeah, I don't envy the younger generation in that way.
I don't say that it's my responsibility to show them every music in the world, but I also I'm think I'm important at that institution, because I'm still like a touring musician, and like I can bring what is the experience from Vancouver? I can tell about you. Like, because it's still so focused on jazz from US. It's still really good music from US, but I have some good experience also from other countries in the world. That I meet musicians personally. And I also like bring home, records and so that I want to also open up the eyes and ears, it's happening all over the world.
Yeah, and I think it's another thing to sort of like, when you have this interest, or you sort of like dive into this as a vocation. Then you suddenly are in community with a bunch of people in the world who are like this, right? So like you and I can talk about this.
Absolutely, like, and talk and play. And also like how we survive as musicians, because you can survive in Sweden as a musician, but also like I'm so happy when the students connect with musicians from other countries. In an early stage, because that's the good thing with my the school where I teach. It comes sometimes musicians, from Iceland, Germany, and there starts a connection that is so crucial. For the future.
Absolutely, just kind of like, because it's so easy to get kind of like trapped in your local area.
Absolutely.
As a musician, and just sort of like think that's the whole world.
It definitely. It's you got to be shaken up, with other kinds of music. Also, like hearing a kind of a bad concert, or something that's provocative, it wakes you up. Hopefully, you try, like how you start to reflect about music.
Right, like a bad concert in a way like that you start to become critical.
Absolutely. You know, it shapes your own personality.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't I like this music? You know, it's aesthetics, and you know how the language in music. But after a while, maybe okay, can I learn to understand this music and to like it? You know, like I think often as a young musician, maybe you can get knocked out of, you know, the kind of raw energy.
Yeah.
But often it's like, wow, that musician has so good technique.
Yeah.
That's kind of a door opener.
Yeah.
It was for me, you know, like when I was 16 years old, I was knocked out of Michael Brecker. I have to confess.
Yeah.
But then after a while, I don't say I don't like him, but you know, sometimes you have to disconnect with musician, you know, to go in another direction.
Right. Yeah.
But then when I'm, you know, getting closer to 60 years old, you know, I feel, wow, Michael Brecker, I can see him from another perspective.
Right. Yeah.
In a good way.
Yeah.
I can say,
that
wow, he's really good. You know, like.
Well, yeah.
For one example, you know, like, but it's so easy, you know, to get charmed by technique once again, or hip phrases.
Yeah, but Michael Brecker is such a good example because there is really like a depth to that playing.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't just like flashy technique. I think, you know, he was cooking some stuff up.
Yeah,
you know,
he was curious.
And he you know, for him it's, you know, shapes, right?
Yeah,
he had like these awesome shapes that he would, and iterations of shapes and stuff. And there's something like very, you know, satisfying about that kind of thing. Like, you know, just like coming up with something using some kind of logic and building it into a thing. And so like you have like admiration for that.
I have. I have never hated him like a musician, but you know, I got fed up. You know, like I understand that he got so many followers. I don't say it's easy playing from Brecker, but it's so clear that it's nice to connect to that kind of, but more, you know, abstract music.
Yeah,
like Ornette, or you know, if you know, like a colleague to Mike Brecker, Drew Redman, that I really admire.
Yeah,
it's a hard one to transcribe or adopt Drew Redman's music, because it's so, you know, it's another, you know, like level of spiritual music.
Yeah,
you know? I don't say Brecker is more simple musician. But there's kind of different kind of layers. But they really respected each other, I guess. Especially Brecker really adored Drew Redman, and it's also a beautiful thing.
Because you think, you know,
Brecker should hate Drew Redman, you know, he's kind of more free playing, but he was, I think Brecker wanted to play like Drew Redman.
Right, yeah, maybe he, you know, he had too much, he had sort of like built up this technique in such a way that like he couldn't escape it.
Hey, you know, we couldn't like be free in that sense.
Yeah.
But there's so many examples of that. But
well, there's so many ways to approach playing.
Definitely.
So like Brecker is just, you know, bright tone, and then just iterations of shapes and you know, reharmonization, like all these like very like absolutely. You know, high-minded things, like, you know, like very very, you know, thoughtful in that way, but also just kind of like thinking a lot, lots of thinking involved in that entire process. And then so in like Dewey Redman, it's more about texture.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
You
and
know,
so like when you, like if you sort of like jumped over the texture part, then it's like, oh, I really need to, because you have to start it, like you have to start at square one if you want to think about like rethinking your tone on the saxophone, right?
Definitely.
Like, have you ever had to like reshape your embouchure or anything like that?
I always does. You know, it's like it's a lifetime search, you know, about your sound and your. I think some days I think, oh, now I'm really happy about my sound, but then it can be back to square one. You know, like it. You know, it's from the start again. But it's kind of nice, because if you're getting, you know, wow, now I found what I searched for.
Yeah.
It's kind of end of the creativity.
Of course, yeah,
it's
no,
kind of
isn't that-
it's
yeah, yeah.
ongoing, you know, like the search,
Yeah.
adjustments, you know, about the sound, and it's much about in your own brain,
Yeah.
you know. But and also like you, for example, I can never can't get close to Do Redman's sound.
Yeah.
I have to like it's okay. I adore him, but
Yes.
I can't be, you know, it's like a trumpet player want to play like Miles Davis. You
Yeah.
have to like find your own
Yeah,
way.
you have to let go of that pretty
So
early
that's
on.
kind of it's
Yeah.
kind of devastating, you know, like
Yeah.
to follow your like the masters. They can help you, but you
But
can.
that sets you free, I
Yeah.
think, too.
Yeah.
Because tone obviously is a big thing in guitar world too.
Yeah.
Right? They're always trying to, you know, guitar players will spend so much money on like vintage gear.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and, like,
Yeah.
I mean, saxophone players will
Yeah.
too. Like, obviously, you know, you have to buy like a
So true.
60-year-old horn,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
or
yeah,
something
yeah,
like
yeah,
that. But
yeah.
like, yeah, you know, people will just be like, oh yeah, so, you know, Schofield was playing, you know, a Vox AC60 on this record with a matchless speaker, and you know, and it doesn't matter because
No,
like
no.
it's John Scofield's fingers are just that way,
Absolutely.
and they absorb the vibration of the strings in such a way that like
Yeah,
you
but
can't-
he's unique.
you can't change your physiology. You know?
Musicians is unique, but Scofield, because you reminded him, because I really adore his guitar playing. His every, you know, since
Same.
so many years ago.
Yeah.
I met him 3 years ago.
Oh wow.
At the festival, you know, like always when you're at breakfast, oh shit, Scofield is sitting there, and I want to talk with him, but
Yeah.
I don't want to disturb him.
Yeah.
But I did disturb him, and I said, "Excuse me if I disturb him," but he was, no, he was such a sweet guy.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Is that
So
he's
that's
very
also
sweet.
like
yeah.
It was kind of reminding myself, yeah, it's nice to be a musician when you meet musicians like
Yeah.
Scofield.
Yeah.
We're a big family, and he's curious
Exactly,
about
yeah.
what I'm saying, and
course,
vice
yeah.
versa. So that was really nice.
I'm sure he would be thrilled to play with you. Yeah, no, and that's exactly it though. Like if you have like, you know, you've been in the community, and you've been working on your instrument,
Yeah.
and so like if you meet somebody else that's been working on their instrument for so long, like
Absolutely.
you already have so much in common.
Yeah, we
right?
have. Maybe it also makes
Yeah.
it easier. You know, sometimes it can be stressful to getting older because oh shit, you know, it's always, you know, like Wayne Short. You know, everyone has the peak of a certain age.
Yeah.
You know, it can be you know a musician, 25 years old, 30 years old. It's kind of a
Yeah.
peak in.
Sure.
But I think also like, you know, the old days musicians played so lot, you know, gigs, you know, like some, you know, 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, it's easier, you know, like when you're getting old to talk with musicians, you know, share knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
When you're coming from, if I was 20 years old, maybe Scofield say, oh, nice, a young musician, but we can like talk, you know, about experience in another kind of way.
Yeah, exactly. But I think the other thing that we fail to remind ourselves of when we're talking about these great musicians from the past, right, is like, especially, you know, if we go to like the very top, like Charlie Parker, right?
Yeah.
So like, you know, how did he get so good? You could talk about how amazing he was, and you know, he apparently practiced 18 hours a day or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, like, but he was like the very best in the world, and it wasn't like an accident that we got to hear him. You know, he was playing in that way, and then people couldn't help themselves but to record him. Right? People
absolutely.
needed to, you know, apparently, you know, figure out how to get into the ceiling of a club so that they could set up microphones and stuff, and like he was that good.
Yeah.
It wasn't just like by accident that we figured out that we've heard of Charlie Parker. It was like he was so good that he was recorded, and that's I mean, you know, all throughout that era up until like, you know, maybe into the 60s or so when recording equipment became a bit more ubiquitous. It was a big deal to record somebody, right? It was a big investment of time and you needed the space, you needed the equipment. You had to do all those things. So all the people that we know that were recorded, they were recorded because they were so good. Yeah. And that doesn't mean that there wasn't other people out there who were like also good, like not around, or also good but not quite as good as these people. There was only so much recording that could be done back then, and so it had to be Miles Davis, and Coltrane, and everybody.
So true.
And now anybody can be recorded. That's not really the litmus test anymore. I'm not sure what I'm getting at at this point,
I think I understand what you mean.
Yeah, like we valorize that these older masters, but they were particularly good.
Yeah, and like Charlie Parker is always like it was one of my first like wow experiences.
Of course,
my father had a big record collection, and listening to Charlie Parker, but it's a combination to see the transcriptions, the notes. Charlie Parker Omnibook made a big impression. But he reminds me what a genius he was to listen to his the clear and also like I've been listening. Actually, one friend sent me an interview with it's not with Paul Desmond.
Okay,
another interview.
Okay.
It's really amazing because Charlie Parker talks a lot about contemporary classical music.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So that you have a picture of, he only played bebop, he was, like a junkie and everything, but he was such a bright person, intellectual person.
Yeah.
Really, what do you call it? Eloquent. What is it? And he's talking, apparently he wanted to take lesson of Edgar Varese. It's a French composer.
Oh, Varese. Oh, yeah.
The Frank Zappa.
Oh, wow.
Frank Zappa adored him, but sadly, he was like in an annoying way asking Edgar about lessons.
Oh, really?
So he said, "Okay, I'm going to Europe and be there for some month, and then I come back to New York, and then I can give you lessons." But Charlie Parker died.
Oh no!
So that's
So right before he was able to,
he could take another direction,
Yeah, but interesting. I wonder what could have happened from that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Interesting. I wonder if anyone else ended up getting a lesson with him instead.
Yeah.
I think I do have to wrap up here. Man, it's been so much fun talking.
Yeah, absolutely.
And really looking forward to the show on Sunday.
Me too.
Sunday evening. We might be able to get this episode out before then.
Yeah.
People will be able to hear about it. But
nice.
I think it's going to be a good crowd either way. So
me too. I hope so.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, enjoy the rest of your time here in Vancouver.
Yeah, man, thank you.